Your lesson essential question is, how do we compare and contrast two texts on the same topic? So we're going to be looking for texts that have the same topic, which is what the text is all about, and we'll be comparing and contrasting them. Yesterday I used this one as an example. Both of these texts are about butterflies. This one's about butterflies in the wild, and this one's about raising butterflies. So they've got some similarities about butterflies, but they're talking about some different things also. So we can compare and contrast informational texts that have the same topic. When we compare, we find things that are the same. When we contrast, we find things that are different. The first thing we want to do is identify the topic of both texts. Then we read the texts and look for key details that support the topic. It's really important that we're finding those key details because those are what we'll be comparing and contrasting. After we've found our key details, we want to compare them by finding details that are the same, and then we can contrast them. And of course, in the end, we speak and write about the similarities and differences between the texts. So, we look for the main topic, we look for key details that are the same, we look for key details that are different. When we speak and write about the text, here's some words that we can use. When we compare, we might use words like alike, both, same, similar, like, in common, also, similarly, in comparison, and as well as. When we contrast, we might use words like different, differ, unalike, not alike, difference, on the other hand, however, although, even though, in contrast to, while, or but. So let's read these two texts, Don't Feed the Animals and Our Animal Friends. Then we'll talk about some things that are the same between them. I can see that both of these texts are about animals. Both of them tell about taking care of them. So we've got our two texts, Don't Feed the Animals and Our Animal Friends. Let's read the texts and talk about how they're alike. Have you ever seen a chipmunk begging for food from a person? Many people might want to give the chipmunk a piece of their snack, but please don't. If we want to have healthy wild animals, then we can't give the animals people food. People food can make wild animals sick. It also teaches them to need people to live. Instead of finding their own food, the animals learn to beg. When people aren't around, the animals don't know what to do. They forget how to live off the land around them. Our animal friends. We need to take care of our animal friends. One way to keep animals safe is not to feed them. Feeding them makes them come back for more. It keeps them from finding their own food. Another way to keep our animals safe is to be careful when driving. Many animals are killed each year by people driving too fast. So let's talk about some ways they're the same. I know they're both saying to not feed animals. Right here it says, please don't. And right here it says not to feed them. So those details are the same. If you feed animals, they won't find their own food anymore, and I can find those key details instead of finding their own food, the animals learn to beg. So they're not finding their own food. And here it says it keeps them from finding their own food. Your job in your assignment today is to find some details about how these texts are different.